on, good people? Look, you are tuned in to the Mountain X Gin, and this is Recharge Reloaded. Thank y'all so much for joining us again today. I am your host, Minister Patrick Williams, and I have with me today...
AJ.
Xavier.
And Isaiah.
That's right. And they are known affectionately as the Boone family. So shout out to the Boone family. Thank y'all so much for coming to chill with me. See, we got a new little setup today.
Yeah.
Look, we chilling today. It's a whole vibe. It's a vibe. So look, make sure y'all like, tag, and share this vibe. Make sure you let somebody know that we are on right now, Recharge Reloaded, and they need it. This is for teens and young adults, whoever feel like they need this conversation. Even if you don't think they need it, chances are they do. So go ahead and tag them on. Let them know what's up. This month is Money Madness. Money Madness. We're going to be talking about finances. And our goal during this series is to help you conquer finances at the age that you are now. So our topic today is steward the bag. Steward the bag. We're going to jump right into it. Steward the bag. So last week we talked about stewarding the bag, but we just kind of touched on it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But now we're going to give you some practical steps on how to steward the bag. How do you move forward with that? What does that look like, right? All right. So the scripture today is Genesis 2:15. Genesis 2:15. I'll be reading the New Living Translation. Short and sweet, hard to beat. It's real quick. Here you go. It says, the Lord God placed the man in the Garden of Eden to tend and watch over it. All right. So basically, God put Adam, when it says the man, they're talking about Adam. If you know anything about the sequence of the Bible, in the beginning was Genesis, right? And he had Adam. He put Adam in the Garden of Eden to tend to it and watch over it. I don't know about y'all, but that sounds like he put him in the garden to steward over it.
Right.
Right. So if he put him in the garden to steward over, I believe that that's the way God looks at us. That's the way he wants us to do with our finances, with our bag, with our money, is to steward the bag. So look, for those who may not know what stewarding the bag is, what is stewarding the bag?
Taking care of your money and making sure you can do the things you want to do with it.
Let's go. Taking care of your money and making sure you can do what you want to do with it. Anybody else?
Dealing with your necessities first instead of your wants.
Let's go. We're going to help y'all deal with it today. And my man say necessities over wants. Necessities over
And
wants.
also, you need to be able to save up the money so that you can go get the necessities.
Come on, you got to stack the bread. You got to stack it. So that is all true. Thank you so much for that. That is real good input as far as stewarding the bag. That's how we're going to get to the point where we can maximize everything that God has for us because we're going to do what we got to do well. So that's super, super cool. So a bad financial situation is something that we've all encountered, we've all heard about. We talked about it last week, which was fumbling the bag. We've all fumbled the bag or know somebody that fumbled the bag at some point in time.
For sure.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We've all been there at some point. Some people like to blame it on everybody else or everything else instead of taking responsibility and putting it on what it really is. And the reality is bad decision making. Bad decisions, and you got to live with it. If you make a bad decision, do whatever you got to do to build it back up and to make it right. You got me? So there are people all around the world suffering from bad financial problems, different things that they may be going through. Look, if you're in the chat, if you are overcomer, if you are no longer dealing with financial issues and you are stewarding the bag, if you got some input, drop it in the chat so we can get it. I want to see what y'all know about it. Look, I just don't want to be up here. I'm not a finance guru. Matter of fact, let me put this clause out there. This is all from my mind. I am not a financial expert. I'm just here to share my testimony and let y'all know what I went through to help somebody keep from going down that hole. You know what I mean? That's what we're here for. All right. So even if we have people suffering from financial problems, chances are they didn't plan. Or they didn't write out the steps to help them get to that big bag, right? So that's why it's so important to become a good steward over your finances. It is important to steward your bag. Last week we kind of touched on it, but this week we're going to dive into it and we're going to pick it apart, right? And I'm going to give you some steps that I found to help us steward the bag. So the first one is the ability to control. The ability to control. So when I say the ability to control, am I talking about controlling the bag or controlling yourself?
Controlling yourself.
Okay, all right. So controlling yourself. Do you think you have good self-control?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, good, good. So how did you develop good self-control? Did you learn it?
Yes.
Yes, the hard way.
Did you trick something up? Did you fumble the bag and realize, okay, I probably don't need to do that again?
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely.
That's a real thing, man. So look, one of the key things about stewarding the bag is having the ability to control. I'm talking about controlling yourself. Self-control is very, very important. That can be our biggest downfall when it comes to this whole money piece. If we don't have self-control, we can blow it. We can mess up opportunities. We can mess up everything that we have if we don't gain self-control. And of course, if we don't get it, it could be a big, big headache, man.
Right.
If you have self-control, it'll save you from the headache. I like to tell people that it will save you from the headache. So of course we like things. We like shoes, clothes. What are some of the things that y'all like?
Video
Shoes,
games.
clothes, video games.
Y'all always talking about games too. Are y'all like true gamers?
All
Yes.
of us.
Yes.
Yep.
All y'all? Okay. Where y'all get that from? Like, huh? Just
We
be-
get it from our
We get it from the
dad.
pop side of the family.
Oh, word. So your
Yeah.
family, you just come from a line of gamers.
Yep.
That's what's up. I'm not into gaming as much as I used to be. But when I was y'all age, of course, I was a real true gamer. Sometimes I say I want to get into it, but I went to buy a PS5 and the price. Yeah,
Oh,
first
my
of all, I
goodness.
can't really find one. So
Yeah.
the
Right.
resale on it's ridiculous right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, I won't be getting one of those. Yeah, we good on that. So we all like stuff, right? So let me ask you this. Can you refrain from getting the things you want until the time presents itself?
You're gonna
Yes.
have to.
You have
Okay.
to be.
Yeah, because
Have
like
to.
certain things are like really expensive now, so
That's real.
you gotta wait.
That's
you
real.
gotta
So-
exercise patience.
That's good. Oh, you got to exercise patience. Let's go. So which brings me to my next point. Number 2, the next step is you got to prioritize.
Right.
Yep.
You got to prioritize.
Necessities over wants.
Necessities over wants. So most financial problems we suffer it comes from our inability to prioritize.
Yep.
That's the problem. Most of the time it's because we can't put our needs over our wants. We can't prioritize, right? So here it is. It is very, very important to understand that being and able to be a good financial steward, what separates us is the people that know how to put their needs over their wants.
Right.
That's what separates us. So like we just named a bunch of things. We like shoes, clothes, games, food. It's a bunch of things that we like, but it's a list that we gotta put together. We gotta prioritize the list.
Right.
Because if we don't, we go do some things out of order, then you'll fall short on the things that you need to do. Those
Yeah.
are necessities, right? So say for instance, like if you're a senior and you got senior dues due, can you put the Jordans aside to like hold off on buying the Jordans or the game
You do.
to be able to pay your
You
senior
got-
dues?
You gotta be
have
able
to.
to.
You
'Cause
got to.
otherwise, you can't graduate. Heck, you can't even go to prom unless you pay them.
Hold on, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me I can't go? How much are school dues? Senior dues.
So if you don't pay them throughout the school year or just throughout your years at the high school, it's $20.
But like,
Yeah.
Hold on. So $5 a year?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Freshman, sophomore,
Junior, senior.
$5 a year.
Yeah.
$5 a year.
So you mean to tell me I won't get my diploma that I worked 4 years for, all my life for $20?
Yep.
For a dub.
Yep.
A whole $20 is
Yep.
Oh no. Listen, that's what we're not gonna do. No, sir. No. So you mean to tell me I can't go to prom if I don't pay $20?
exactly.
can't.
You
Yeah. I'm gonna need y'all, people out there in the chat. What I'm gonna need y'all to do is make sure you focus and pay your senior dues, because
real.
I don't want you not being able to walk because you didn't pay $20. So when we talk about prioritizing as far as this step, sometimes we got to put the things aside. Like say for instance, for me, I'm into the Jordan thing, right?
Yep.
So a Jordan dropped on Friday. I didn't know about it. Thank God I didn't know about it because I probably would have been in a situation had I known about it, right?
Right.
I was in a meeting. I said, thank you, geez. My brother texted. He was like, the drop is today. I was like, I thought it was Saturday. I'm used to Saturday drops. But it dropped on a Friday, right? But I had to make up in my mind, okay, do I go and get these?
Or you make a budget and
Come
not
on,
go
bro.
get them.
You in my pocket now. You in my pocket. Or do you make a budget? Look, my budget doesn't allow me to go and get this Friday drop. So guess what I had to do? It wasn't on my list of priorities. So guess what I can't do? I
Can't go
and
get 'em.
those. No, I'm not gonna get those. So you definitely gotta make sure you prioritize and put things in the right. You gotta say no sometimes to the new game console just to get your class ring.
Right.
Yeah.
Because your class ring is more important. I still got my class ring. Shout out to class of 04, Churchland High School. I still have my class ring from school. I wasn't going to get it. I wasn't gonna get it. I was like, man, I don't want to spend all that money. I think it was $250, $279, $300, somewhere up in there. And I was like, man, but I'm buying everything else.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, let me prioritize. I need to go ahead and get my school ring because this lasts forever. So here it is. I'm coming up on 20 years, and I still have something that I can remember or hold on to from school.
real.
It ain't no 2-time champion ring. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no big 2-time football ring. You know what I'm saying? But hey, my little class ring will do. You know what I mean? All right. So the third one is the ability to manage resources. The ability to manage resources. It's very, very important to manage your resources. So planning. Can you all plan?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So it's safe to say that y'all have the ability to manage resources.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So what does your planning look like? What is a plan?
A plan is like
What is
Set-
another word for planning?
A budget.
Let's go. Hey, Jay, come on. That's why you sitting by me. That's why you're right here, because you got it. No, budgeting. That is exactly what it is. So budget. See, most people look at a budget, right? You got to write out things. Most people, when you say the word budget, some of the adults just logged off right then. There was some people. There was some people watching, and they was like, I was with them until they said budget. Budget. Some people look at budget like a curse word. But if we looked at it like a help, a helping hand, or I love the word budget. It took me some time to get there. It took me some time to grow to the point where I'm comfortable with the word budget. Because I used to be one of those people where I was just like, man, you know what? I can't budget. I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. But then you mess up the longevity of it. So that's not being a good steward over the bag if you're not prioritizing, or if you're not, if you don't have the ability to manage your resources. Right. So you got to plan it out. It's something about writing it down. When you write it out and see it, oh man, it's so great, so great. So, go ahead. You got
Another way to put it is, how are you going to constantly be pointing the finger at your budget or other people over and over again, and then you're going around saying that you're good at stewarding the bag? It doesn't make sense if you're doing that, because you're messing up your own financial problems, blaming other people or something else, instead of going to your mind and telling yourself, this is your own fault. Take accountability for your actions.
Oh, I like that. So before we move on, because you jumped into the next, you own to something right there. Hold on. So before we go there, I just want to make sure we know that your budget keeps you honest and it keeps you on the right path.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Your budget just keep you. You write it down. You're like, oh no, sorry, I can't do that. You know how much stuff I blame on my budget now. Oh no, sorry, y'all, can't do that because it's not within my budget. Or hey, can't go and do that because it's not within my budget. But you can always save for the things that you want.
Right.
But it is very important to prioritize, and it's very important to have the ability to manage your resources. Right. Mm-hmm. So you just talked about taking responsibility. I got to jump into it. I got to jump right into it, which leads me to number 4. Number 4 is you got to take responsibility.
Have to.
You have to take responsibility. It is very, very important to take responsibility. So I said, I heard this one time. I said, if you are in a habit of blaming others, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or something for your problems, then you're not a good manager over your resources at that point.
You're not.
You already off to a bad start if you blaming others. You have to take responsibility for some of the things. So you oftentimes hear people be like, what are some of the things people say? Oh, I never was taught money. I don't know why I went with that voice.
I didn't have a good role model to show me how to budget and all that.
Yeah.
Right. What's something else? Yeah, I didn't have a good role model. What was me? No. Get yourself together.
You got to teach yourself how to do it.
Yeah.
Come on. What it say? If you know better, you do better.
Right.
Right.
So get to the point. It's all kind of resources out here now where you can get online. And YouTube, the School of YouTube, man, that is the best college ever.
Right.
School of YouTube, you can learn different things to help you on this journey called life, man. That's one of the things that I love about it is that if you jump on YouTube, you can find out, okay, how do I write a budget? Mm-hmm. You can Google it. You can ask Siri. Alexa, whoever you got. But yeah, it's very, you got all kind of stuff, but take responsibility. Take responsibility. It is your job to be responsible for your bag.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
God gave you the resource. God gave it to you. So if he gave it to you to steward it, it is your job to be responsible over what God has gave you. Now, you got to take full responsibility, whether it is favorable or unfavorable.
Yep. You
Yeah.
gotta.
You gotta take responsibility and stand on it and know, okay, he gave me this, and I gotta hold this down.
Right.
Right. 'Cause-
Yep. So the next one, number five. Number five, we rolling through these. We're rolling for number five. Don't be greedy.
Don't be greedy.
Don't be greedy. Number five is don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. So the Bible says, for the love of money is the root of all evil.
Right.
For the love of money is the root of all evil. So you hear some people say, oh my God, money is so evil. Don't go worrying about money. No, it's not necessarily money, but the love of money, the greed of it.
You just want to
could
chase.
cause
You want
you
to
to
chase
mess
the
up
bag
everything.
so
Chasing
much.
Right. So it's nothing wrong with chasing the bag, right?
Right.
As long as you don't get it to the point where you just lose focus off everything else.
Right.
Right. And you just so don't be greedy. Don't get caught up in it.
An example of that is missing school just to go to work.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Missing school to go to work. Whoever's doing that out there, hold on, man. I didn't even know y'all do that. You miss school to go to work. Listen, folks, you need to go ahead and go to school. School is your number one priority. So
For
go to
real.
school first, take care of what's first, and then you can go to work. That's always, look, you got a lifetime to work. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Right.
Young people, you got a lifetime to work.
Little did you guys know, if you don't have good grades, you could probably get fired.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
wow. Hold on. They firing people because of grades now.
Yep.
Now, hey, look, I ain't get fired, but my mama sat me down.
Right.
I'm telling you, I will never forget. I told y'all know my first job, Hardee's, just like y'all.
Yep.
I was at Hardee's, bro, and legit, my mom, my grades started dropping off because I was closing. I went from just working up until 8 o'clock to working close, and she was like, no, your grades started dropping. She was like, no, you need to go back to 8 o'clock. I was like, Mom, but I don't make enough money. When I get off at 8 o'clock, I ain't getting no bread. She was like, But she cut me from being greedy, because that's what I was doing. I was being greedy, trying to get it. And things started. So when I say losing focus, when you start to lose focus on everything else that you have going on, and things start dropping off, hey, you being too greedy.
Right.
You got to cut that thing back a little bit. You got to cut it back. So it's very, very easy to become capable of being greedy. It's very easy to become greedy, especially the more that we grow.
Right.
So the more successful that we grow, the more successful that we get, the more money that we get, it's very, very easy to be like, oh man, I'm just so driven. You see people all the time that's just driven and motivated. Now, like say for like at my job, right? Like April always tell me, she said, "Babe, you don't have to work every Saturday." I'm like, no, I gotta get it. First of all, because I know what it's like being on leave, getting a regular check. Y'all ever had a overtime check?
Yeah.
Yes.
It hit different.
It hit different, bro. That overtime check allow you to do. Look, I tell people all the time, I can pay my bills off my check, but an overtime check let me pay my bills and some. Like I can do a little bit extra with that. You know what I mean? So that overtime check is beautiful. I love it. Shout out to everybody. If you know what an overtime check feels like, put some hearts up on the screen right now.
Right.
Put some hands up. I want you to put some praise hands up because God gave you the ability to be able to get it, but don't be greedy.
Right.
Don't get caught up in it to the point where you get greedy, because once you get greedy, whoo, it can be a rocky slope. So you gotta make the point to always ask God to help you find contentment in Him and not your finances.
Right.
You gotta so going back to last week. Remember we say last week it belongs to who?
God.
It really ultimately belongs to God. So we're really stewarding the bag for Him.
Right.
So everything that He gave us, we just holding on to, trying to make it. But when it gets to the point where we just get it, make it our own, we greedy. I gotta get the bag. I gotta chase the bag. That's cool. But when it gets to the point where other things start falling off and you making mistakes that you don't normally make, you got to tighten up. You got to tighten up, and you have to make it a point to ask God to help you find contentment in Him. Hey, God, help me center this thing. Get me back focused on where I need to be. Like, get me back on track because I'm falling off a little bit. Right. All right. So the next one, which leads me to point number 6. I keep saying point, but number 6. Number 6 is faithfulness.
Faithfulness.
You gotta have faithfulness. You gotta be faithful. And for those of you who are just now joining us, we are talking about this series. This whole series is Money Madness during the month of March. Money Madness. We just gonna help you at your age be able to deal with your finances and become more financially stable when it comes to your money. All right. So faithful. You gotta be faithful. So we always hear this time and time again that any action taken with honesty and loyalty will always render fruitful results.
Right.
Listen to it. Honesty and loyalty will always render fruitful results. So stay true to yourself And don't worry about others, but stay true to you and how God gave it to you, because that is one of the major prerequisites for being a good steward over your
Staying
resources.
true to yourself. Stay yourself.
Yeah.
Be your own person.
That's it. Be faithful. If however God gave it to you. So when somebody say, "Oh man, he can't never go nowhere because he ain't got on the latest shoe, or he ain't got the new J's that came out." No, don't worry about that, because God gave you the bag, and you steward your bag how you need to steward your bag.
Right.
You got me? Don't get caught up. Just be faithful to the way God gave it to you. Be faithful to how God told you how to go about stewarding it. You know what I mean? As far as your budget. Don't let people knock you off and be like, "Oh man, he ain't got, anything. Oh, I don't know what he got going on. I don't know. I'm reaching for something right now." But you know what I'm saying? You know how people are always trying to kind of make up something, talking about you, and it's like, no, don't worry about me. Look, I got mine. So just remain faithful.
The main problem with some people when it comes down to having faith is that when they're in a terrible financial situation, they feel like, "Oh, this is not going to go well for me." But that's just them not having faith that God will be able to pull them out of it in the first place.
See, you jumped on a whole nother faithfulness piece. I love that. You got to be faithful to God and know that anything that you are in or involved in,
He can pull you out.
He can pull you out, bro. That's real. So basically, in a nutshell, stick with what is right.
Yep.
Stick with what is right. How God gave it to you, you stick with it. Don't worry about, don't get thrown off key. Stick with it. Stay faithful. Faithfulness to steward in the bag. Number 7, you got to set goals.
Yep.
You gotta set
goals.
goals. You gotta set goals. A financial steward at heart is one that sets goals. We already talked about writing a budget and all that stuff, but it's important to set goals. Plan things well ahead in advance, and then take steps to ensure that they unfold in the right manner.
Got to make sure they're measurable too.
Oh, come on, bro. You own it now. I always talk about being realistic and measurable.
Right.
Whenever I talk about vision boards and casting vision and all that stuff, in the beginning of the year we do what?
Vision boards.
And when we do vision boards, what I say?
Make sure they're measurable.
That's it, bro. Look, you cannot be working at Dollar Tree and say, "I'm gonna save me $1 million by the end of the year."
If it does happen, that's you. But
if it does happen, it's a miracle. It's God. If that does happen, look, let me tell you something. If you got and I'm not saying God can't breathe on you working at a Dollar Tree, but I'm just saying, if we look at Dollar Tree salary, and I'm not picking on nobody that work at Dollar Tree, so if anybody works at Dollar Tree, shout out to you. Thank you for what you do. But what I'm saying is, like, if you work at Dollar Tree, I'm just gonna say a minimum wage job. Let's take Dollar Tree out. If you work a minimum wage job and you set a goal to say, "Hey, look, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna have $1 million by the end of the year just off saving what I work." You don't even make $1 million a year.
Right.
So is that realistic?
no.
It's not
Absolutely
realistic
not.
to be able. No, you're setting unrealistic goals, and it does not make sense. So make sure you set goals, but make sure they're realistic and authentic. Number 8, you gotta save. You gotta save. The importance of saving cannot be a joke. It can't be a joke. You gotta take saving serious. So be smart when spending money, because the way money goes out of your pocket can significantly affect the amount of money that you will end up with on a rainy day.
Right.
I'm telling y'all right now.
And
rainy
that's where the budget will
raindrops
come
will
in.
fall. Rainy days do come.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where the budget is gonna help you with.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We talk about it all the time. I'm transparent on here. I always tell you my story to help y'all not go through the same things that I went through. I used to spend money to the penny. Let me tell you something. You want to talk about a budget? I didn't know what a budget was. That B word was a curse word to me. I used to spend money to the penny. So say, for instance, now I'm on a budget, right? If I take $75 a week out of my check, and $75 of my gas money, my little miscellaneous money, the chances are you really don't need a lot of stuff, right?
Right.
But say, for instance, if I got $75 and I put $50 in the tank for that week, how much I got left?
25.
$25. Quick math. $25, right? So if I got $25 left, I used to blow the $25 because I know I'm getting another $75 next week.
Right.
I was just talking to my sister about that last night, right? No, but what you start doing, what your budget will help you do, or self-control or discipline will help you do, is you got 75, you put the 50 on gas, you got 25 left, you roll over the 25.
Right.
So guess what you got next week for your budget? $100.
Right.
You got $100. You're going into it with a little bit more than what you had the week before. But people look at it wrong, and they be like, "Man, all I get is $75 a week." My brother hit me with that. He was like, "Man, $75, I can't live off $75 a week." No. You're missing it. on a day-to-day, we swipe our card for man, that card will get away from you. That debit card, I don't know. I don't know about y'all, but a debit card will get away from you. Swiping. When I first got a debit card, I thought it was just plastic. Like I knew the money was supposed to be in there, but there was this thing called overdraft fees. If you went over, you knew it because you knew you had to pay more than because you didn't have the money there, so they had to put the money there for you. So that's a whole nother thing. But make sure you save money, save for a rainy day.
Instead of trying to buy stuff immediately, allow that money to build up over time also.
That's real. That's what we just talked about. Allow money to build up so you can roll it over. So you can, you can always get the things that you desire.
Right.
That's a real thing. You can always get it. So which leads me to number 9, risk assessment. Assessment. There's nothing in the world that you do that does not involve a risk.
Nothing.
But the chances are you got to take a risk assessment to look at what it is that you have. You got to assess the risk that you have, right? So say, for instance, if it is important to look out for the opportunities to try to counter the risk that may come up. So if you know you drive an older car, right? Chances are that's a risk to me.
Right.
You know you got an older car, any day things could break down, something could happen, you need some money to fall back on. Those rainy days that I was talking about, right? So that's a risk. So assessing that risk would be like, if I know I drive an older car, I need to make sure I have some money put up so that way I got something to fall back on if it breaks down. The problem with me is I was always spending the money down to the penny. So when it's time, when something happened to my car, then I got to go to my mom and dad to ask them for some money because I didn't, I gotta borrow out of my check.
And that will put you in debt.
It will put you in debt. So which brings me to the next point. Debt is a no-no. Debt is a no-no. It is a no-no. Look, one of the things I used to hate was that, like, say, for instance, say, can you let me borrow this, that, and the third? And they would let you borrow it, but when your check come around, then you got to pay back everything out of your check that you borrowed.
Right.
So essentially, then you ain't got no money. So then you're back in that cycle. So you got to try to get out of that cycle. So debt is a no-no. If you are thinking that debt is normal, you already on the wrong path. You already starting off bad. Like you are already on the wrong path. Some of my seniors that's headed to college, trade school, military, credit card sharks are out there waiting on you. They are waiting for you, seeking whom they can devour. It is not free money. It is not free money. So don't look at it like that. Don't get caught up. There's nothing wrong with getting you a small credit card to be able to build your credit. But look at that like don't go into debt. Don't get into debt. That is a no-no. So stay away from anything that will result in owing debt one way or the other. Nothing is wrong with getting that credit card, like I said, but just make sure you stay focused. So look, these have been the steps that anyone can take to help steward the bag. You need to be a good steward over your money. Managing your money is a way of glorifying God, so you should not take it for granted. Always remember that God is the source of your finances because he has given you the anointing and the favor to be able to make the money to begin with. So be faithful over little things, and he will trust you with more. So that's all I got for y'all. Now it is time for our Recharge Spotlight. And our Recharge Spotlight goes to Marino Terrell.
Congratulations, Marino.
Shout out to you, bro. Look, Marino Terrell had his first season of playing middle school basketball for Deep Creek. So salute to you, man. His hard work really, really pays off. I watch him on social media all the time. So not only was he playing for Deep Creek Middle School, he also played rec ball too. Woo. So him playing rec ball at the same time, look, and he managed to maintain his academic career by getting honor roll.
What you call a student
So
athlete.
you're playing two sports and getting honor roll. So salute to you, man, on your hard work. And hard work does pay off. I love the relationship that you and your dad have, you and your family, man, cutting the grass. I can't wait until summertime because I love those grass cutting videos. Your lines be straight and perfect. I'm proud of you, bro. So thank y'all so much, man. This has been Recharge Reloaded. So if you don't have your young people right there in front of you or would you go and call them in the room right now because now it is time for Mountaineers Live with Minister Ulysses. Y'all check it out.